It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the Science Bowl, the science quiz program here in the Prince George's Schools where we test science IQs. Test your own and play along with us today. We've got 6th grade players playing our game today from 2 middle schools. Let's meet them right now. First, from Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School, would you please say hello to Joseph Baylor, Michael Stroud, and Joshua Webb. And from Thomas Pullen School, would you please say hello to Morgan Jefferson, Sydney Alexander, and Mackenzie Hooks Harris. And now, here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's science potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty. The easier questions, they're on the left, worth 5 and 10 points. Tougher ones, 15, 20, and ultimately 25. Toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. End of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking schools, talented schools, will come back to play our game again. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly. Let's go to the red team. And Michael, would you try your buzzer? Looks and sounds just great. Good luck to you, to Joseph, and to Joshua. And Sydney, give it a push, please. All right, the green one's looking good, too. Good luck to you and to Morgan and Mackenzie. And we're ready for a good game. Martin Luther King, reigning middle school champs. Thomas Pullen saying, not if we have anything to say about it. We're going to have a good game. We go alphabetically M before T. So Martin Luther King and Michael, let's play this bowl.
Let's get physical for 15 points.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Team sodium hydroxide with the formula NaOH is slippery. It tastes bitter. It is a proton acceptor. It is this kind of chemical that is the opposite of an acid. Martin Luther King.
A base.
It's a base. That's right. Good. Red.
Let's go science potpourri for 15 points.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, there was a scientist by the name of Nettie Stevens who discovered that a creature's sex is determined by these 2 chromosomes. Martin Luther King.
Y and X.
Y and X. Absolutely right. Okay. Go again, red.
Dateline Science for 15.
Dateline Science for 15 points is a multiple choice question. These are long words. Tell me which one is true. Listen carefully. Recently, during the total solar eclipse, there was a new word introduced into our language. It described how much of the sun was blocked out by the moon. Was the word that was used obscuration, obfuscation, or, yes, Michael?
Obscuration.
Obscuration. The other choice would have been obliteration, which was also not correct. Yes, how much of the face of the sun was obscured. Good. Red.
Let's get physical for 20 points.
Get physical for 20 points. Teams Marie Curie, the famous scientist, the Marie Curie's papers and experiments are so radioactive that they are sealed in a box made of this chemical element. King.
Lead.
Lead. All of that is in a lead box to prevent people, researchers, from being contaminated in kind by all of that radiation. All right, you're off to a fast start, King. Where next?
Body systems for 15.
For 15 points in body systems. Teams oncology is the study of these, yes?
Cancer cells.
Not cancer cells. Thomas Pullen, oncology is the study of these massive growths associated with cancer.
Tumors.
Tumors, that's it. Good. Green.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems, 10 points, teams. Selena Gomez recently underwent a renal transplant that gave her a new what? King. What you got?
New kidney.
New kidney, that's right. Renal is the descriptive term for kidney. All right, I didn't know if you were going to pull that one out. The girls were ready. They knew it. Go Red.
Okay, zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. All right, teams. Multiple choice question. Koalas, there's those cuddly things in Australia. They are known as monophagous animals because they have one joey at a time. They only live in one particular place, or they only eat one kind of food. Monophagous king.
One kind of food.
One kind of food. Phagus was the clue there. That's suffix. Go, Red.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, I'll be interested to hear if you get this one right. The largest edible fruit that is grown here in America, it tastes like a combination banana-mango, has a two-word name, and both words are the same words on which that describe what a dog walks on. King.
Pawpaw.
Pawpaw is right. Thank you, Josh. Good assist there. Go Red.
We're going to go science potpourri for 20 points.
Potpourri for 20 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio if you would. If you ever read Alice in Wonderland's Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, you'll recognize the Jabberwock. The Jabberwock was a creature that had the neck of a sauropod dinosaur and the leathery wings of what kind of flying dinosaur, Thomas Pullen?
Pterodactyl.
Pterodactyl, you got it. Good. Sydney.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, Crayola crayons have just introduced a new color called Bluetiful, B-L-U-E-T-I-F-U-L. It replaces the yellow color that was named for this familiar king.
Goldenrod.
Not goldenrod. It replaced what familiar weed? What yellow familiar weed was kicked out so Bluetiful could come in?
Dandelion.
Dandelion. That's what I want to hear. Good. Green.
Let's get physical for 10, please.
Get physical for 10 points. Teams, if you want to cut down on the amount of energy you are using here on planet Earth, they say that you have reduced your carbon
Carbon footprint.
footprint. That's what I wanted to hear. Good. Mike, go.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points. Teams, recently the New Horizons spacecraft took pictures of the planet Pluto, and they found this heart-shaped plane there that has been named for this first ever space satellite that the Russians launched that started, King?
Sputnik.
Sputnik, yeah, it started the space race way back in the 60s. All right, 185 to 95. Good game going here. Advantage Red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, the reason why it is so hard to see if you're flying in an airplane at night is because these photosensitive cells in your retina, King?
Rods.
Rods, yes. Joshua was saying cones. That's for color vision. Rods do not work well at high altitude, so a plane is tough to navigate in the dark. The buzzer says the first round is over. 205 King, 95 Pullen. We'll be back with round 2 in just a moment. Don't you go away. Welcome back to Science Bowl. So nice to have you here today. Thanks for spending time with us. Here we are in our 32nd year of Science Bowl here in the Prince George's County Public Schools, and we have great students always, and 3 of the best are the young men I'm about to introduce. You've probably watched them grow up as we have. They've been with us in middle school, elementary school, and now here in middle school. And this is your last year with us, guys. Yep, and you're going out in style so far. You're playing a great game. Mike, tell us about King. You have a new principal, don't you?
Yes, we do. Miss Floyd Cooper.
And she is here today, and she is just so excited about you guys, and she'll be out in a moment. And yes, if you've seen the Science Bowl posters around the county, these are the guys on the poster. Yeah, so they're famous. Maybe you'll give some autographs later. Tell us about your sponsor. Who's your sponsor?
Miss Butler.
Miss Butler has been with us for many, many years. And Elizabeth, thank you for all that you do to keep this game going here. We couldn't do it without you. And you have an alternate or two, don't you, Mike?
Yes, we have Rahel and Trevor.
Wonderful. And they're out there, and they'll be out in a few moments, too. We'll give them some FaceTime here on TV. Best thing about Martin Luther King?
I gotta say, it's all the opportunities for students to get involved outside of classes. We have lots of extracurriculars, one of them being Science Bowl. We have a number of sports teams. We have Destination Imagination. We have jazz band, and many, many more. We have lots of clubs we run, and our teachers are very, very encouraging.
It's a great school. It's a great school. And You say it so well. You're a great advertisement there for King, Mike. I know you'd like to be a professional baseball player someday, and you've got other things that are possibilities. What are they?
I've always been very interested in aeronautics.
Yeah. And I know your buddy here, Joseph, you're interested in aeronautics as well, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, all right. Mike, good to have you back here. Joshua, nice to have you with us today. Tell us the Joshua story. What do you do in your spare time, Josh?
Well, I do scouting, I read, I play hockey.
Yeah. So what rank are you in Scouts?
Star.
Star. And Mike, you're a Star Scout as well, right?
Not quite yet. I'm very soon
Almost there. All right, so you're a little ahead of him, Josh, right? Josh, what do you want to do someday?
I would like to go to University of Maryland. I'd like to get a doctorate's degree, PhD.
I see no reason why that won't happen. You're a great guy, and obviously you're very disciplined, and we've always enjoyed having you here. Joseph, talking about a serious guy, you got it all planned out too, don't you?
Hopefully.
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Well, hopefully I'll get into Eleanor Roosevelt High School and then move on to MIT, because I've heard a lot about that school, especially when researching things for Dateline Science.
Yeah.
We see a lot of things from MIT, especially in the robotics and some forms of the engineering categories, and especially the engineering, because what I wanted to be when I grow up is to be either an aeronautics engineer or an astrophysicist.
Wow. Well, again, I don't see any reason why that won't happen. You're a great player, and I respect your dedication to scholarship, which is evident here every time you're on the show. And these young men were also on WUSA's Great Morning Washington not too many months ago and played the anchors, and you know who won? These guys. Thomas Pullen, nice to have you here. And all the attention over here, you guys are remarkable. You're here, you've never done this before. And these young ladies, if it gets real slow here today, I'm going to ask them to perform because they're all dancers, wonderful dancers. And they're saying, oh my gosh, is he really going to do that? No, he's not. But I just wanted to let them know how talented you guys are, because Thomas Pullen it's a creative arts school, isn't it, Sydney?
Yes.
Yeah. And how long have you been there?
I've been there since the first grade, so like about 8 years.
So that's home for you. That's been home. It's going to be hard to leave. What's the best thing about Thomas Pullen?
The best thing, honestly, about Pullen is just the creative arts, as they give kids the opportunity to express what they like. And then plus our sports teams are good.
Yeah. And if you're a creative person and you have the opportunity to show that creativity, you're in heaven. So it sounds like a great school. So you want to be a dancer someday?
Yes, but if I can't be a dancer, I wanted to be a psychologist.
Yeah, that's a good fallback. And you could probably do both. Who's the principal of Thomas Pullen?
Our principal is Miss Pamela Lucas Adams.
Yes, indeed. And I know she's behind you 100%. And your estimable coach is Mr. Roy Manning, and he's just the best of the best. Roy, I don't know what they would do without you over there. He's just a remarkable science teacher, and just a remarkable. He can take good selfies too. I was watching him earlier. Yeah. Sydney, who are the alternates on your team?
The alternate is Ugona.
All right, and Ugona will be out in just a few moments. We'll have her standing right behind you. Mackenzie,
yes.
Another dancer. Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd you get interested in dancing?
I got interested in dancing from just being an energetic, busy type of kid. Thought it was the best talent for me to go into, being able to express how I felt. And when I heard the song, I knew I had the groove for it.
You had to do it. You just felt it. And you guys are never going to have to worry about going to a gym. You're all in fine shape because dancing is athletic, and you guys are very athletic over there. What do you do in your spare time, Mackenzie?
In my spare time, I usually dance or...
I knew the answer to that, yeah. That's how you get good. Practice,
Yes.
practice, practice. Why'd you want to be on Science Bowl?
I wanted to be on Science Bowl because I'm very interested in these questions that make my brain think, really think.
And that's what we try to do. We try to give you some clues in each of these questions, so even if you've never heard of it before, maybe something will click, and it is clicking with you. You guys just have to get on that buzzer a little faster. Morgan, nice to have you here today. This young lady is very fashionable. You can just see it, and you're interested in fashion, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot.
And so, what do you see yourself doing someday?
Well, I see myself just being known for my own creativity and artwork because I feel like I could be the same as somebody, but I feel like I put my own type of style into it, and I also would be known for my dancing because that's pretty much what I've been doing all my life.
Wow. And if you find something you love and someone will someday pay you to do it, that's the best thing that can happen to you. And maybe we'll know, whatever your line is someday, it'll be known just by Morgan. You'll be like Beyonce or Cher. Morgan. All right, let's get back into the game here. The toughest questions are left, as are the easiest questions. Last correct answer came from the red team, so Mike, let's have a good second half. Go.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, the reason why monarch butterflies are disappearing so quickly is because this weed that sounds like Martin Luther King?
Milkweed.
Milkweed, yeah, I was going to say this weed that sounds like it contains lactose is disappearing. Good answer. Go.
Let's get physical for 25.
Physical for 25, big one in that category. Teams, we know that incandescent lights are so yesterday. Today it's LEDs, light-emitting diodes, and CFLs. What are CFLs?
Compact fluorescent light bulbs.
You got that right. Good. Go.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. All right, teams, kind of a geographic, zoological question in one. This sea that is located near the continent of Australia is named for these structures underwater formed by polyps. King.
The coral sea.
The coral sea. Coral is made by polyps, yeah. All right. After you hear the answer, it's like, I knew that. I knew it. Go red.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25 points. Teams, Saturn's moon Titan has lakes and oceans, but not filled with water. They're filled with sea. King.
Methane.
Methane. I was about to give you the formula, CH4. You were miles ahead of me. Go.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade, 20 points. Teams, if you read the comics, there's a comic called Family Circus. It's about a family. Little Billy was at the zoo with his dad, and he says, Dad, that sign says dromedaries, but they look like these to me. What animal were they looking at the zoo? King.
Elephants?
Not elephants. The sign says dromedaries, but they look like these to me.
Monkeys?
Camels, sometimes called dromedaries. Go again, red.
Let's go with body systems for 25.
Body systems, 25 points. Teams, the word hypothesis means an educated guess. Well, there's another word that sounds like you're mispronouncing hypothesis called hypophysis, which is another name for this master gland in your head. King.
The pituitary
The
gland.
pituitary gland is sometimes known as the hypophysis, a.k.a. hypophysis. Good.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. All right. The Peace Corps has advertised for a coniferous tree horticultural specialist. I'll give you 25 points if you can give me 2 coniferous trees that they might study.
A fir tree and a pine tree.
Firs, pines, Christmas trees, absolutely right. Good. Red.
Let's go with zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. All right, teams. We are omnivores, which means we don't have the canines and the incisors that carnivores do. We also don't have what kinds of teeth? King.
Molars or cuspids.
Molars, absolutely right, that herbivores have for chewing that food. We've got molars, but they're not heavy-duty molars you could find in a cow. All right, we're down to the lower valued questions. Go.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, we don't know if Frosty the Snowman's eyes were made of the anthracite or bituminous version of this fossil fuel. Coal. He had 2 eyes made out of coal. Yeah, go.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. All right, teams, your question is as follows. One of the reasons why putting up a solar panel in the Atacama Desert in Chile is such a good idea is because this environmental variable is so low. King.
The horizon?
Not the horizon. What environmental variable is so low in the desert that makes it a perfect place to put solar panels? What do you think, girls?
Water. The temperature?
You're closer. The humidity. There's not a lot of moisture in the air, so that means there's not a lot of interference with the sun's rays coming through. All right, where next, King?
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, this virus, which we now know causes microcephaly in newborns. Zika. They're actually using that virus to treat brain tumors. So imagine something that is so virulent being turned around for a useful purpose. All right, Mike, go.
Potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio, if you would, please. And meet Beelzebufo. This is an ancient, extinct frog so big that we think it could eat small dinosaurs. That's what it's doing right there. Its nickname is this gobbly thing that was in the first video games that went all around, King.
Pac-Man.
They call it the Pac-Man frog. Yeah, go.
Let's go with Dateline Science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, it was Aristotle who thought that these birds spent the winter on the moon, which maybe is where they picked up the babies they would then go on to deliver.
Storks.
Storks, yes. Of course, we know storks do not go to the moon, but people used to believe that. Go.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade, 10 points. All right, teams. In the development of an insect, careful now. If you're a butterfly, you go egg, larva, this, adult.
Pupa.
No. Pullen. Butterfly development. Egg, larva, adult. What'd you think? Chrysalis. Chrysalis is what it was. Sometimes you've seen those beautiful green chrysalises that monarch butterflies form. All right. Mike got 3 left. Where 2?
Let's go with Body Systems for 5.
Body Systems for 5 points. Teams, even though we don't know exactly why we do it, we spend 1/3 of our life doing it. Sleeping, yes. More if you can get it. Go, Red.
Green Things for 5.
Green Things for 5 points. Teams, according to the Bible, this seed, the smallest of all seeds, grows into largest of the bushes. It is also the seed that is turned into this condiment that tastes good.
The mustard seed.
Mustard seed. Tastes good on hamburgers and hot dogs. Last question for Zoo Parade. Let's see if you know your Harry Potter. If you substitute a P for the M, then you know the name of what a baby echidna is called. It has the same name almost as those characters in Harry Potter that have no magical abilities. Careful now. Careful. King.
Muggles.
Puggle.
Oh, Puggles.
Puggles. That's right, Joe said. Put the P in there, Mike. Puggles is what they're called. And that says our game is over. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't you go away. Welcome back. Virtuoso performances here today. We are proud of all 6 of our players, and it looks like the defending champion is poised maybe to take that championship again. Our final tally is Thomas Pullen, 95. Martin Luther King, look at that score, 415. You guys really had a game today. Joseph and Michael and Joshua, and where's Trevor? Trevor is back there, and Rahel is back there, and Mrs. Butler is back there, and Mrs. Floyd Cooper is back there. So everybody is here. Let's give them a hand. Nice job. Nice job. And Thomas Pullen, you girls have never done this before, and you think, what did we get ourselves into? You did a beautiful job here today. You look great, and you kept up that competitive spirit throughout. And I want to see you on stage someday. I bet you're going to be fantastic. Morgan and Sydney and Mackenzie and Ugana. Wave to everybody, Ugana. That's the alternate. And Mr. Roy Manning, as I said, the best of the best. Thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you next time. I'm Dave Zarin. Until then, bye-bye.